Hello. Well, today is, Monday, el lunes de mayo, de, no, I was wrong. Today is Monday, and what day is it today? It's June 3rd, the year 2024, right? And hoy es lunes 3 de mayo de 2024. Today weather is very good, and it's neither too hot nor too cold. This is my favorite season, and June has just started a few days before, and but I'm sure that we are going to set in our rainy season in 2 weeks or so, which is the most deplorable season in a year. This is the last season that I wanted. Actually, I want, because this is not my favorite season, because it's going to be raining for the whole month until the middle of July, and every day it's going to keep raining, and we cannot go outside. I can't walk my dogs, and because my dogs are not used to getting wet in the rain, since I never take them out on rainy days, but for the entire rainy days, I'm sure that we will be so bored. I don't like that rainy season, and this is my 1959th or 60th rainy season ever since I was born. I'm going to be 60 the next September. It's going to be just in a few months already, and this makes me realize how fast time flies, actually. I can't believe I'm going to be 60, because when I was a kid, I would always imagine someone in their 60s, very, very old. For a child like myself, I can't imagine to be as old as 60 myself, but I will be 60 this year in 3 months, and this is what I can't believe, because of course I look older, and I don't look as young as I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. No, I'm in my 50s, but okay. Yeah, of course, I look older, and I have changed. I mean, my appearance has changed so much compared to myself when I was in my 20s, 30s, even 40s. But still, I feel as if I'm the same person when I was in my late 20s or early 30s. And this is what many people say, so this can be true to everyone. This can be said to everyone, but especially myself. As for myself, I have this kind of tendency to make myself look younger than I actually am. And the tendency is what is called I forgot the name. Attachment disorder. Attachment disorder. Someone with this tendency is someone like they didn't used to get enough affection from especially their mother or their female caregiver when they were young, and they actually don't know how to be affectionate because they didn't get enough affection, or they might have been I forgot the word. Someone around them are too demanding, might have been too demanding, and they were constantly in a situation where they must have been ordered to do something, and they could not be as independent as they should, or people around them could have been nagging toward them. I forgot the word, but it's not a good thing. Okay, it's not a good thing. Good thing happening to child, and but since your parents might have didn't know, maybe your parents didn't know how to raise their kids properly, because they were actually grown that way. So it's a vicious circle, and it I don't know how to say this, but runs in the family. It runs in the family because your parents must have raised you that way, and your parents also must have raised that way from their own parents. And the parents always tend to think that what they are doing is okay and right, but since that way of looking things can be distorted, it's not right, it's not healthy. For example, my mother is a person who always told me to be a good girl, because my neighbors, if I didn't act okay, my neighbors would laugh at me. Not because I should have done this or that, because what I was doing was, it's so confusing to explain, but parents should teach children what to do or what not to do, depending on, I'm sorry, I can't explain it in English properly, but some parents bring their children in a bad way without knowing. It's their fault, but in a sense, it's not their fault because they have been grown that way, and they didn't learn the right way to raise your kid. They raise their kids properly. So if you don't know how to raise your kids properly, how could you do that, right? So it happens to many parents, but some people are very affectionate, and such affectionate parents can bring their kids properly because they do it with so much affection. And with so much affection, you can be raised properly because you can have the very good value, good image of yourself, right? If you are raised with affection, so much affection, you can have the very good image of yourself. And if you have the very good image of yourself, you are confident in a real sense. And then when something bad happens, you cannot be, I don't know how to say this, but you can be always calm. You can always be calm, and you might be in trouble, but since you're confident in a real sense, you can survive because you can manage to find the right way to solve the problems. And I think this is the best quality when it comes to being a humankind, because if you are raised with proper affection, enough affection, you can be brave. It makes you brave enough to explore every opportunity that will come in front of you in a real sense. And so you can be, it makes you become open-minded, and it makes you confident enough to work on things with people. It makes you confident enough to cooperate with or work with other people. But what if totally opposite thing happens to you when you were a little kid? Which means that you are raised with not enough affection, and then it makes you constantly anxious about things happening to you. And in a nutshell, this is what has been happening to me throughout the entire life. I began to notice this when I was in my teens. When I was a very little child, like when I was in kindergarten or something like that, I was a tomboy. I was a girl, but I was a tomboy, and I was mean, and I was very strong in a bad sense. I was I don't know how to say this. I forgot the word. Bully. Okay, I was very dominant in the kindergarten. I was small, but I don't know. Anyway, I bully. Okay, I was mean to other kids. I was very vibrant, and I was a tomboy, and but I was selfish. Okay, I was very selfish, and when I was in elementary school, I began to have problems with other friends, my friends, my classmates, because sometimes I didn't know how to be friends with them. I was just scared of left out. And in those days, it was still too early. It was still too early. Nowadays, for the last 2 decades or so, bullying has been rampant everywhere in classes at school. But in those days, there was not so many bullying going on in classes, in schools. But still, sometimes I was afraid to be deserted. So what I did to avoid this was that I tried to say goodbye to my friend even before I was being said. I would have been being said. One time, one of my friends told me before the class began that she had something to say to me. So when the recess started, she was going to tell me about it. And I was just scared by listening to her saying so, because I thought that she would say goodbye to me. I thought that she would want to end our friendship. And what I did was terrible. Before even she started telling me about that, telling me about what she was going to tell me, I told her that I wanted to end our friendship. And she looked astonished. But she said yes, or something like that. Never mind, or something like that. And so I didn't know what she had in mind, actually. I even don't know still if she had something that I was thinking about. So this is one of the most disappointing things that happened to me when I was a kid, and I still regret that I should have listened to her, what she would say, instead of saying something to her before that. And I'm so sorry. I feel so sorry, because I might have hurt her feelings. But I don't know what was true. Okay, anyway, for the entire life, I have been struggling with my own tendency or personality, and now I'm old enough to understand what it is, and I have decided to tackle with it at last. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on attachment disorder or avoidance disorder, because I also tend to avoid things, and I learned that I tend to avoid things, and I tend to be procrastinator. I tend to be a procrastinator. I tend to procrastinate things. Just because I always imagine the consequences of what I will be doing in my mind, and then I just I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to explain this, but and when I think about the consequences of what I'm going to try to do, it makes me feel it makes me feel reluctant to do it. And I'm not responsible. I don't want to be responsible for things somehow. And this is one of the tendencies of people with avoidance disorder, and also it comes from attachment disorder. Because in a nutshell, people with this tendency are not confident about themselves because they are lack of affection. They were lack of affection when they were very little. So they have grown without having confidence in themselves. So that's why they cannot be sure enough to do things, and that's why they tend to avoid things. And how to fix it? Okay, the most important thing is to accept who you are in the first place. At first, you have to accept who you are, and you can be the one. You can be the one who understands you the most. First and foremost, okay? You have to be the one who understands you the most. And you cannot change in a day or two, and you don't have to change in the first place, okay? But it's better for you to change the way you see things, because it can be a bit distorted. All the values and all the way you look at things can be nurtured, can be nurtured, can be have been nurtured, or I don't know how to say this in English, but it all came from, okay, what happened to you when you were a very little, and all the notions and the values must have come from those old days. But you were still a very young child, right? Very little child with and you have you with less experience, you didn't have much experience, right? Because you are just a kid, and all the notions you had back then were not necessarily true, but you have kept having the same value and notions even now, after you have grown up. But you have to ask yourself if those values and notions are really true or not. Because you have been having those values that makes you determine if those values and notions are not true and wrong, you don't have to worry about them. You don't have to let them conquer you, right? So in a quiet situation, you'd better ask yourself, you have to tell yourself that all the things that are troubling you are no longer true. So you don't have to be worried about them anymore. And you are now grown-up adult, right? And you have experienced much more things than when you were a child. And you understand things better. And you are smarter. You are more experienced. And then you should calmly think about things. Is it okay for you to have the same value? Or is it okay for you to look at things in the same way that when you were a child? This is something that you have to do when you suffer from attachment disorder, because you should be the one who loves you the most in the first place. You love yourself more than anyone else does. You accept yourself. You should accept yourself, and you heal yourself. And if you heal yourself enough, others will also, because if you heal yourself enough, the way you look at things and others will also change. So I've been trying to do this, and I will continue to do this in the future too, little by little. I don't have to change, but I try to change the way I perceive things little by little, because I always see things according to my value. This is the very beginning, of this entire thing, which has caused so many problems throughout my entire life. In the past, I never trusted people because for me, all people are something that makes me feel bad, because I believed that way. I had believed that way since when I was a little kid. I had gone through so many things, and I had learned that way. And that's why even though I don't have to change myself, because it's very difficult, because if I want to change myself, it means that I believe that I am not good, right? It means that I refuse myself, right? It's not a good thing. Rather, I should treat myself. I should take good care of myself, and I soothe myself, and I trust myself, and I tell myself that it is okay to be myself. But instead, I want to try to change the way I look at things. I look at people. I'm living in a house now, and when I was a kid, I used to live in this house. In other words, I came back to my hometown about 10 years ago. I actually married very young, when I was 22, okay. I gave birth to my first child when I was 23, which is pretty young, early for people nowadays, okay. And I wanted to get married to my ex-husband because I wanted to get out of my house as soon as possible, because my house was not where I was feeling comfortable. In those days, I didn't think that in the house that was not my place to be in. So I wanted to get out. The only thing that I came up with was marrying someone, probably. I didn't think so, but in my subconscious mind, I was thinking about that. I was feeling that was the best way. And I did it. And I left home. And I seldom came back home. And I actually fought with my mother, who has passed away, who has been dead for the last 20 years or so. I fought a lot with my mother when I was living in this house when I was younger, though. My mother, I don't think my mother loved me so much. It happens to many mothers and daughters, though. We are not the only ones. We were not the only ones, though. But I think that the mother is also a person who didn't know how to love her own daughter. I think she must have loved my brother, who is 60 years older than I am, though, because he's a boy. He was a boy. He was a son. He was the son of my mother, and the mothers tend to love sons than daughters, right? Because they are different. I mean, mothers are female and sons are male, and the daughters are female, so mothers don't like the same female creatures, right? Yeah, it could happen often. And I didn't want to go back to my hometown because I couldn't feel comfortable when I was staying in my home with my parents. I didn't think that we were good communicators. We were not good communicators. And I wasn't sure if I was loved by my parents. My parents never divorced, thankfully, but I'm not really sure if that was good to their kids, because kids understand, kids assume if their parents are good or bad, right? Okay, anyway, I've talked about 30 minutes or so already, and I'll be back some other time. Okay. Today weather is good and it's still cool, and I really enjoyed the weather in May last month, but May has finished already and June has started. But for a while, before the rainy season starts, I will be enjoying the cooler weather for a while. Okay, I'll be back some other time. Look forward to it. Okay, have a wonderful day today. Bye-bye.